Good day, everybody. Welcome to the It's More Than Just Money segment on the Witness Mdaka YouTube channel. I'm not alone today. I am with a very phenomenal, inspirational woman who's going to share her story with us. I am with the prop doc mom, Dr. Miranda Moloto. She's a businesswoman. She's a property investor. She's a property podcaster. And she's got a phenomenal story to share that I think can benefit most people, especially if you're starting out in your journey and you want to build a portfolio for yourself, and then you want to learn basically nuggets about how to look after money. Because if you're starting out, there are certain mistakes that you make and that you wouldn't otherwise make if you had someone share certain things with you. Doc, how are you?
I'm good.
It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us to share your story with us.
I hope I'm going to inspire somebody or maybe stop somebody from making the mistakes that I made and maybe inspire them on their journey.
So there's a lot of things that you do. You're in property, you are a doctor, you are a mother, you are a podcaster. Your podcast reaches over 80,000 people in South Africa. And although it's only been, 2 years since you started podcasting?
2 years.
But you're doing phenomenal work.
Thank you.
And you've helped, I think through your podcast, you've helped thousands of people learn how to invest in property, learn how to basically start from little to a lot. Specifically people of color that look like you. You're very passionate about
Oh my
this.
God, yes.
So what's that all about? What sparked the desire to want to see people, specifically black people, invest in property?
Thanks for asking. You know, I tell you the story all the time over coffee that I was sold the story that if you pass and you graduate medical school, it follows. The money's gonna follow. You know, I've been waiting for this money to follow, but no one taught me the principles of how to save and how to invest and how to grow the money. And not only that, along the way as professionals, Witness, I don't know if it has happened in your life, but Mina, I would be sitting in my doctor's office. I used to have a practice, believe it or not. There would be all sorts of financial advisors at my table. When we were at medical school, there was a financial advisor. And the only products that I was sold were like, what is it called? Death cover. Funeral cover, disability cover. Imagine I'm 21, guys, and somebody is already playing defense. And I don't remember anyone speaking to me about investment. And that's where my pain point comes from. Okay. And I decided every other black female MBCHB or black female professional is going to hear it from me that please be careful while they sell the products. If no one is talking to you about investing and growing that money, come over here. Come over here.
So you said something quite important, or rather intriguing. You said something like, while starting already, you're being taught defense.
That's it.
So are you then indirectly or inversely saying that the important thing is to have, if you're not defending, you're attacking?
Yeah.
So what is it that you would have done differently if you were taught to attack? And what is it to attack in financial terms?
In financial terms. Well, while you're selling me the disability cover, guys, the fact that I can pay 250 rands towards a disability cover, 250 towards a retirement annuity, 250 rands towards a death cover, surely I have 300 rands to put in easy equities. Can you see that all of those things can coexist? Because there's nothing wrong with starting to save for retirement. But is it what we really want to do? Save for retirement? At 21, what were my thoughts at the time? And it was before I got married. I was very clear. I wanted to work overseas. I wanted to travel, and I wanted a nice car. And if somebody had shown me how to get to the nice car without buying a nice car with debt, right?
Yes.
How to get to my nice car quickly, that of course there are mechanisms of investment. And I don't think lots of black people are taught about that. If you look at the funeral cover advert, look at the color spectrum of it. Look at where it is sold, and look at where they find us. They find us in the stadium, they sell us a funeral cover. They find us at medical school, they sell us a funeral cover. Okay. So I would say attacking comes along with disability cover. Indeed, there are lots of accidents in South Africa, and what happens if a doctor is injured and they are unable to work? Sure, that product can exist, but can it exist with investing? How, guys?
Hold that thought.
Sure.
I've got something to ask you.
Yeah.
First, all right, Doc. So tell me how, like, when you were starting out in your journey, because our channel is mostly centered around helping people build businesses, invest in property, invest in shares. I mean, you've been a doctor for many years.
Yeah.
What, 30 years now?
28 years.
28 years you've
Right.
been a doctor. You don't look like you've been a doctor for 28 years because you look young.
Yeah.
Right. So you've been a doctor for that many years, and you've identified a lot of pitfalls around what happens when a young person is starting out in his journey. So 28 years ago, you are starting out, a young doctor. What would have been the mistakes that you think you made when you were starting out? I mean, if you look at what you know now versus what you didn't know then when you started.
Absolutely. I think there are several of them, Witness. Thanks for asking. My goodness, I've just shared with a friend that if I knew that 300 rands is large enough for a share portfolio, and share portfolios have always been there, and someone had spoken to me, all I had was green company, blue company, yellow company coming to me with these defense products. Yes, right? And a green company, blue company, all of them, they sell the same thing. So that's the first thing, that a share portfolio can start with as little as 200 rands. And I wouldn't be so scared of the Joburg Stock Exchange.
Yes.
And I start growing money instead of playing defense, because those products, your disability does not make money. Your income protector does not make money. It doesn't make you money, doesn't save money, doesn't grow money. And I think that's the one big thing. And the other thing is, if people could use language that a girl from Orlando East who has never heard about money, being told about money and not using all these terms. You know, I tell you all the time that capital growth and, you know, ROI and ROR, to a simple person who has not studied finance, that is the one thing that really turns us off. It draws a blank, not because I consider myself intelligent enough for you to say, you know, when I say capital growth, I mean this.
But Doc, growing up, we've always thought that doctors are wealthy people.
I know.
They've got the cash.
I know.
They know how to make the cash.
I know.
So, I mean, you're surprising me now when you say back in the day you didn't have much cash and you didn't know much about making the cash. I thought doctors knew about money.
No.
What? So can you debunk the myth that doctors have a lot of money and they know a lot about it and they know how to make it? Take me through that, because as a young person, I mean, I wished to be a doctor when I was young, because I thought maybe, because remember my mother was a nurse, so I thought if so and so is a doctor, and they drive a nicer car than my mother, surely they are wealthier than my mother. You know, all the people that I knew that were doctors had nicer cars, including the ones that worked at the hospital, or the ones that had practices. There was always a nice car parked outside a doctor's office.
We really need to tell the truth. Let me tell you, when I first bought my disability cover, I feel like I was targeted. In the final year of study, in the 6th year, Blue Company came and gave us gift, like literally the folder had a disability cover in it and a death cover that we didn't have to pay a single cent for. They paid for it. It had my name. I had a policy number already. This is in my 6th year. I'm not earning a single cent. Right? That's how it starts. Now, when the 1st of January, the following year comes, then it kicks in. And I must start paying for this policy. Already I'm tied to this policy and I feel obliged to take it with the blue company, right? Second thing is 2 months into housemanship. Remember, I come out of medical school. I don't have a single cent. My mother has bought me my shoes, my first jeans for working. She's dropping me off at the hospital. I don't have a car. I don't even have the bank account. Remember how I told you how the bank account came about?
Tell me the story again, so that for the benefit of the people that are watching.
Absolutely.
So that they can
I love the story
from.
because this is how we get trapped into debt. Right? 1st of January.
We're talking almost 30 years ago.
30 years ago. They still do it right now. It still happens. Right? So 1st of January, we are working at the hospital. I'm at the Helen Joseph Hospital. And the first 2 people that came is a green company and a blue bank. They are at the door, doctor's room. And what do we get offered? We got offered Achiever plan.
Big achievers.
Big achievers. We are graduates. We're going to make money. And what does Achiever plan come with? It comes with a checkbook at the time. Do you even know a checkbook? Have you ever seen a checkbook?
Well, when I started my first company in 2008 or 9, it was a check account and I had a black checkbook. So
you did?
I know what a checkbook
okay.
is. I've never written a check.
A checkbook has got a little piece of paper and a stub. You write here and then you write on the side. Okay. Checkbook, it has got a credit card. And I remember distinctly that the credit card had 4,900 in it.
And you're earning how much?
My salary was 1,228 rands. I keep telling you because I know it, because I still have the check stub of my salary. I have a checkbook with an overdraft. I have a credit card with credit of 4,900.
I thought they gave you funding. So you could have started any business with that money.
Totally. Now you tell me, you were born 30 years too late for me. That's my big complaint. So yes, I had funding to start a business, but who taught me how to start a business? Because when you go home and you appear to your relatives, the success that we were measured against was, orekile BM. Hi, no, opasite, she's a graduate. Ubile orekile BM. No one talks to you about that money is not yours. Can you use it to grow it or something like that? The first thing that I wanted to do was what? To buy a car. Right? I was fortunate. Compared to most people, that I was able to wait and save my money. I bought my first car at the end of October in my housemanship year, and I bought a used car. That at least that advice, and my elders, even our role models, everyone got out of school and bought a car.
A nice car.
A nice car, and but not only that. 8 weeks into my housemanship, we were visited by a car dealership. I don't know if I can mention brands, maybe not, right? Let's leave the brands. Anyway, we were taking...
What car was it?
Okay, so we were taking, I bought a VW City Golf, fortunately for me, my very, very first car. But soon afterwards, I was driving a GTI.
Cheers, I talk. To show them that you're a doctor.
GTI, 2 big bumper, you know, you need to define your position in society.
But were you in a, you see, that's important, because then a young person is listening to you now. They're starting out, whether they're a doctor or an engineer or whatever, a lawyer, right? And they're thinking, well, I don't want to focus on these build a business or invest your money kind of thing. Dr. Miranda bought a GTI. That was the car that she bought when she started out as a doctor. I want to do the same thing. But what is the truth around that purchase? The real truth.
The real truth around that purchase is that you are instantly in debt. And the easiest thing for us, I don't know how it happens with other professions, but I've spoken to accounting friends, is that I walk into any of the big four, I will get credit. The truth is, everyone sells you the debt, and very easily. I actually don't even have to walk into the bank. I get the banks to come to my office and offer me debt. I will give you this. We do it better. I will give you this. We do it better. And that's the trap of being a new graduate with a family that didn't have money. You have access to debt, but no one tells you how that debt is going to be paid back. Right. So that's the important thing for professionals, that just because, and they know that we value also our status, we value our credit records. So you are enticed into debt, and you are locked into the debt and bad debt very early in your life. So when you want to start a property portfolio in 2 or 3 years, suddenly there is this BMW or the GTI that requires 9,000 out of your salary, when you could have flipped, buy the property and let the property buy the car. So that's the trap. There's nothing wrong with what they are offering us. It is how we use what they are offering us. I think that is the issue. But when you've never had the language of take that money, go grow it so that you can pay that debt, you'll buy the car later. No one speaks to us about that. No one. And actually what they do when you get into these banks, and they're like, and Dr. Mdaka was here and we helped him finance his BMW in 2 days, and Dr. Lungelo was here and we helped him finance his Volvo. No one, I promise you, no one said we helped them finance a business in this way and that way. Yeah, so it was only like 2 years later when I bought my practice, or bought into a practice, that I was financing a business. All right, that was the first time I had good debt, and they were financing what? They were financing equipment, and it is very channeled. There is a particular place that you buy the equipment. There's a particular bank that gives you particular debt, and I like how they even position these products. Tina, we walked through the different door. I don't know about you, Witness, if you've ever walked through.
Well, I'm not a doctor, so I can't walk in through a different
We
door.
walked, as dentists and BCHB, we walked through a different door at the Green Bank, because we had loans that were branded for medical professionals.
To lure you.
It's a trap.
Right.
It's a trap. Look at those things. I had an insurance company call me yesterday, and they're like, we have got a product for professionals and very high-worthy professionals like yourself, and just that language. Fix your self-esteem somewhere else. Don't let yourself be defined by the financial institutions, because they will name this profession as if it is the profession. And then once you are trapped into it, now you have to keep this job. Now you have to stay, even when you want to pull out and do something else. I remember I've always been excited about technology. I wanted to study computer science, but now I'm entrapped. I have got equipment to pay for, car number 1, car number 2 to pay for, and there are dependents around you and whatever. And remember, we are a black community. You don't come alone. It's not just you, right? It's not just you. And some of us then get married very quickly. Another trap, right? You get married because you think this is what is done by other people.
So you're completing the picture.
You're completing the picture.
Yeah.
You're getting married, and you have to get married in a certain venue, certain.
Of course,
things.
you're a doctor.
It has to look a certain way, because it's not just anybody. What do? You walk into the bank, you get an overdraft. Of course they will.
So are you saying then that your path as a doctor at a time, we could name it as something that was a blessing and a curse?
And a curse at the same
curse
time.
that came because of lack of knowledge.
Absolutely. And you were surrounded by what? You were surrounded by other doctors, and I mean older doctors, people who have been in the field, and no one was speaking language. You guys are so lucky to have podcasts. We talk about these things, and they are all over social media. There was no internet at the time. And so no one speaks to you. And what are you seeing? Your elders are buying what? They were driving S500 at the time, that big bus thing. So they were buying, and that's what people want. And I can just see a young male doctor right now. What do they drive? A Range Rover, possibly. Yeah, that's what they drive, and a Golf 7. And when I looked at the price of the Golf 7, I couldn't believe that we were buying GTIs as an entry car, and in today's terms, it is incredible. So for me, it is the entrapment of debt, and the debt is also attached with a label. Be careful of that. It's attached to the title that you have or the degree that you have. Yeah, I'm excited right now. I have got 2 mentees who are MPCHP, and I keep telling them that remember 3 years ago when you were not a doctor, who were you? If you stay with your name, then you can sell this glass of water and be a doctor and start. Number 2.
So that, before you tell me number 2, keep the number 2 in your mind. That the ability to, or the importance of detaching from your title. Remaining who your parents named you, then being able to sell anything you want to sell. Because, so are you saying that when you're a doctor, it becomes difficult to do anything else other than what you are conditioned to be?
I find that I see that has changed a lot. I love seeing young doctors on Twitter and on Instagram, and they do what they do. You know, one is a fashion designer, one sells medical education, one sells, Dr. T sells sex education and sexuality and a healthy sexuality. I really love that, because you can pivot. Look at how long it took me to get to being a podcast. I didn't know that my articulate and my voice can sell something, right? It's a pivot. It's really a pivot, because if I knew my voice when I was 24, I could have been a podcaster from then at the time, right? And the social media was
doing it for how long now?
I would have been doing it for 24 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is an incredible thing that is happening, and the change is amazing. The second thing that I did with my voice was I've been in telemedicine. You know, being able to consult with patients from the other side of the phone or video conferencing, and I do it well because my voice naturally can educate. My voice is, most people are able to listen to, because I can unpack difficult concepts and give it in a simple way. And I think our podcast does that. Property magicians.
So what I hear from you, when you say that, do you still remember number 2?
I do.
Tell me number 2 first.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll go to your voice, because that speaks to identifying your gift and knowing it very early. Because education, that's not necessarily a gift. You're a doctor, yes.
Yeah.
But what's your gift? But we'll get back to that. Tell us number 2.
Number 2 is you can start with the little. The very little that you call little when you work in the hospital, or whether you are specializing, you are a registrar, or that small little amount that you call, my corporate job doesn't pay me enough.
What about cleaners? You know, there's a story where I shared with you guys of a lady that works for the municipality, and earns 8,000 rands. And in the last 2 years, she bought her first property. And she even saved 60,000 rands last year. And she was saying that she rented out that property, and she wants to buy a new one. So, but obviously, you as a professional, your language would be centered around doctors and those people, because those are your peers and those are the people that you identify with the most. But sitting at home it's someone earning 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's someone earning 3,000.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to those people? Because I believe that knowledge can span across
It can.
income
It can.
groups.
I've spoken to the professionals. They know themselves. They buy a bottle of wine for 300 and 500 rands, right? I have spoken to that. But Witness, you know that I'm a co-founder of a property stock fair, right?
Yes.
Wealthy One's Property Stock Fair. There you are. Wealthy One's Property Stock Fair. You save 300 rands for 3 months. You are able to enter the stock fair because the registration on the stock fair is 1,000 bucks. From then on, every month, every 300 rands that you are putting away, you put it into the stock fair. When we have a deal,
Oh, I can start from only 300?
absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely. When Witness is developing this property and he needs us to borrow him 500,000, there you are with your 900 and 600, and I've got 6,000, another person has got 5,000. The 500,000 comes from this community, a collective. We borrow it to Witness for the next 6 months. He just needs it for 6 months. 6 months later, he comes back.
Yeah.
He pays us 500,000 plus 15% interest. Have you not grown money?
Absolutely.
You have.
Yeah.
Have you not invested in property? You have. And we get Witness Mdaka to come to a webinar because we do that with every person that we borrow money to come and tell us about his project. You tell us the pitfalls, you show us what you are doing. We go on site as we do the due diligence. There's education. You are earning. You are learning about property. You are involved in property investing long before the 100,000. Because you guys speak big monies at home, Witness. Not all of us have got 100,000 just like that. Yeah? So a person with 300 and 500,000 property stock fair works exactly the same.
300 rands.
300
You are used to big numbers
rands.
as well. You said 300, 500,000.
300. But you guys come and borrow 500,000 from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
But from the 500,000, where did it come from?
From
On
the
our
300
property,
rands.
yes, on our property stock fair, I've got pensioners, I've got retired teachers, I have got young professionals, I have got young professionals who earn 5,000 per month. Maybe they take home something like 2,300 at the end of it. So what I'm saying is there are different levels. By the time you speak the big English of capital outlay and I need 10% equity down or whatever, start where you are. Start where you are, and it is possible to start where you are with the salary that you think is small. I mean, I was taught about property investing by someone that I was paying about, maybe I was paying 340 rands, something like that, for a personal trainer.
Oh, okay.
At Virgin Active. And he was like, I'm on property. He was stressed. He had property number 6 and I had 1. And no, don't even call it 1 because it was the roof over my head.
Yes.
It wasn't an investment property.
Yes.
I had no investment property. He had 6. Personal trainer.
Wow.
And he earns only when I train. He earns when he has signed up a person because they are not even...
No work, no pay.
No work, no pay. And then on Sundays, he would take us on hikes and we would pay him 50 rands for eating. What was he selling?
He was an entrepreneur?
He was an entrepreneur and he was selling the energy because he would come. He would turn up on a Sunday morning, number 1. Number 2, he would take us to these beautiful spots and we would hike, and afterwards, and he says, let's plank. I won't make you do hard things, doctor. Let's just do a plank. I want to see if you can hold it for two straight minutes. And I just love a person who keeps me regular at gym. That's why I bought the service, because gymming, I can do that on my own. But have I done it for the past 10 days? I haven't gymmed for 10 days because I need someone to keep me honest with myself. So we can sell anything we want. One of my mentees works at a supermarket in Rodiport. I gave him the idea. He bought second-hand weights,
right?
And he trains people on Sunday mornings.
Extra
money
cash.
made. And how much does he make? 300 rands. What does he do with 300 rands? Property investing.
Property stock fell.
I wish someone had told me. Do you know how many times I've had 300 times 100? If someone had told me earlier.
You've had 300 times 1,000, sometimes times 10,000.
How many times have I earned 300 times 1,000?
Many times.
Many times.
Over the years.
Yeah.
28 years.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt your feelings, so I'm not going to keep asking.
The tissue is here. I can. We love this conversation, guys. He teases me all the time about it. We love this conversation with you, and the more we repeat it, the more it becomes even clearer for me, but it becomes clearer for the next person to listen. And I think the biggest downfall that we have with us black people, we do it with HIV. We could hide TB, we can hide HIV. Some people even hid COVID, which is a pandemic, which is out in the open. But money and black people and hiding. Hi, like, do we have money or don't we have money?
It must be an honest. It
must
can be
be-
nyana. It has to be. It's either it's money.
It's money
Or it's not.
not.
Right.
So that is our other biggest downfall. Over a glass of red wine, what do we talk about? We talk about, have you bought the new They're like, oh, you're still driving the old German car. Okay. Can we ask the same question about how we're making money?
The cash.
Yeah, let's bring it to how do you get to that German car we're talking about, and why are we even buying German cars? Just say.
I'm not gonna ask why we're buying German cars. Doc.
Yeah.
You know that you and I can talk
We can.
till tomorrow.
You know.
There's a lot of information that you have.
Yeah.
But lastly, right, I want you to talk to someone who's saying, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I've been working for many years. I don't know where to start. I don't know how to get out of this, what seemingly is a rat race. How do they do that?
Okay. I like that question, and I like the fact that I don't have the answer,
Yes.
right? I can only tell you about my lived experience. And that's exactly why I agreed to do the podcast, because I don't want to talk about woo-woo stuff that is out there and end up talking about capital what and ROI. I don't like that. I think we need to talk honestly about what we are talking about. Have a look at that salary, exactly where you are, you know. Don't go and try and find all sorts of things. I know all of us end up selling linen and AMC pots and what and what and what. Look at that salary that
So
you
I can
have.
sell.
You can sell anything. Herbal, what?
Yeah.
Kaufela. It's okay. It's okay if you are a salesperson. We just spoke about what makes, what sells. What's your unique
Yes,
thing?
yes. On that, right?
Yes.
Your voice, your gift,
Yeah.
right? Are you done on this point? Because I want to ask you a question concerning. You know what I want to ask.
Yeah.
So, why is it important for someone to understand their gift and understand it early? And how do they convert it to cash? Like you said to me that if you had started the podcast 24 years ago, where would you be? I think you would have impacted the entire Africa with your work, right? So why is it important for us, even when we are working in our everyday jobs, everyday businesses, to understand that we are not our careers, we are not what we study,
We are not a title.
we are not a title. What is our gift? So why is it important to understand the gift and to learn to convert it into cash as quickly as we can?
As quickly as we can. I think we get channeled too quickly, Witness. We get channeled too quickly. You are a doctor, therefore doctors do their following and only their following, right? And when you stay with that and then you are defined by society, doctors do this, doctors drive this, doctors don't do podcasts, doctors can't pose for a picture, then you are going to stay. Imagine a doctor who knows how to make clothes, to sew.
Right.
They can be a doctor and still sew. When someone says to you, and when they come and derail you, just remember the gifts that you were given is a whole bouquet. And go choose the one that works with those hours at the hospital.
Yeah.
And use it. Right? I am a natural orator, and it's easy for me to teach. When I understand the concept, quickly I want to Zuluize it and Tswanarize it, kapilinyana, right? To say, what do you mean? Don't tell me about ROI. Kapili, where's the money?
ROI is a return on investment.
But tell the person that it's madinyani,
yeah.
There are little kids it has produced kids. Can you see?
Yeah.
Kapilinyana, and then you get, so that you don't use big language. So please, if it's possible for you, get somebody around you to speak to you in the way that I'm speaking to you now. Quickly get yourself a mentor. I pay coaches whenever I want something done, and I want it very quickly. I want someone to unpack concepts to me. I get a coach, right? 100%. Some of us can afford to buy a coach, but there is some person around you that you can speak to about money, about your gift. How do I monetize my voice? How do I monetize the fact that I can crack jokes? How do I, because what is Trevor Noah?
He makes a lot of
money. He makes a lot of money. He makes us laugh. There's a girl that my daughter follows on YouTube. She calls herself Rizzy. I don't know what her name is. And she calls everyone that follows her Rizzies. She skids everything. Just drinking water, she can do a skid on it. Amazing young woman. Really amazing. And I think you can be many things. We need to believe that we can be many things with or without our titles.
Okay. Your favorite quote?
Yeah. Favorite quote. It is by Marianne Williamson. I don't know how exactly it goes, but it is something like the biggest problem that we have is thinking that we are small. And we don't think we can be. I don't know how it goes exactly, but it is about our biggest mistake is that we think we are small. We don't even think that we can impact the world. And the very thing that really makes us small is probably the very thing that can change the world and that can impact the world. I'll find it for you. I've just forgotten how it goes.
Your 3 favorite books? Don't be biased.
I am. I'll tell you why I am though. I am because it is probably the first money book that is so simple. And it includes all sorts of concepts. Marriage and money, investments and money, property and money, and it speaks to a young black child somewhere. I wish I had the manual when I was young. That's my one. It is not my necessarily number one, but it is one of my favorite books. My second favorite book is The Cash Flow Quadrant, Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
I have been an entrepreneur many times over, and I stayed in the self-employment quadrant.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand the scaling of going into business,
right,
and investor.
Right.
Yeah, it took me too long, because all I knew was that guy in the corner who had a shop, his own shop, and he worked there until he died. And then he died, and then the business died. I have a relative who had a cinema in Tembisa. Same route.
Wow.
I have GP practitioners, general practitioners, self-employed. When he is not there, there's no practice. And they work 7 days a week. Old GPs, remember, in Tembisa. Yes. That's exactly what they would do. So, the third one is Napoleon Hill.
Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich.
Mm-hmm.
I've known the book for exactly 13 years, and I have read the book 4 times.
Wow. Doc, thank you so much. for your time, for your wisdom, and for sharing those nuggets with us.
Yeah.
If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Are you subscribed, Doc?
I am subscribed, gosh.
If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notifications button so that you don't miss any of our interviews. Our mandate is to help people understand business, property, and shares, because we know that those are the cornerstones of wealth creation.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming through, Doc.
Thank you, and thank you to your listeners, and I hope you follow us also on Property Magicians podcast. It is your go-to property investment for brown people. It is a podcast that unpacks every one of the
biggest
strategies.
in South Africa.
It's the biggest in South Africa. We get downloads of over 80,000. It's been around for 2 years. Property Magicians podcast, and follow us at Wealthy Ones Property Stokvel, and join the Stokvel and start investing and getting educated while you do it. How easy is that?
Doc?
I've loved this.